How do you play that moving forward? How do you bet that moving forward? Or are you just going to sit back and root against the Bucks and the Lakers, which is fine and fair. I have no problem with that. I know LeBron, for some reason, drags a lot of people to the hate category with him. I'm not rooting against the Lakers nor the Bucks, but I definitely understand there is turmoil with one team. The thing about LeBron James and this Lakers squad, they just haven't looked right since they came back. They just haven't. This team does not look like a Lakers team we've seen cruising in the regular season before the COVID break. Since the bubble came back and everything restarted, that team looked like it was lost. The Lakers have looked lost for more of the time they've been on the court than not. Blazers come in with a ton of momentum. And credit Portland, I thought they'd be out of gas, but it was the Lakers who really just looked disinterested at times. That was one of the worst starts for a team coming into the playoffs that had a bad start in a restart or bubble scenario we've ever seen. Just think about if there wasn't a break and if you didn't have this COVID pause and you saw the Lakers limping into the postseason and then getting beat up by the Blazers last night. What would be the common takeaway, do you think? That they're in trouble, that something is wrong, something is desperately wrong inside that locker room with LeBron, with Anthony Davis, with Kuz, with everybody else. Something is just not clicking with the LA Lakers. The problem with going in that is when you have somebody as successful in the postseason as LeBron James has been, it's really difficult to ride that. Yeah, you could be Charles Barkley and say whatever the hell you want in front of a camera and never have any accountability for your predictions or chastising or anything along those lines. It would have been nice to see him go down that same road he did with Joel Embiid the other night, ripping Anthony Davis, but I don't think he even mentioned Anthony Davis, and if he did, it was in positive light. Oh, well, Anthony did that. Nonsense. You're going to rip Joel Embiid, you might as well rip Anthony Davis as well. But that just shows you the inconsistencies that you see all the time with Barkley and his analysis. Whether or not the Blazers and everybody now, you can even bet on this in the global market if Barkley's right about the sweep for the Blazers over the Lakers. Look, man, what we have right now is LeBron James with his back to the wall. That's it. We have LeBron James still with a hell of a resume, unchecked, unchallenged by pretty much everybody who's played the game except maybe Jordan and a couple of centers, but we don't count them in these types of discussions. They're in their own world. We have a guy who has proven that he can beat anybody on the floor. He's done it. Now, he's lost in the finals as well. It's not perfect. We understand that, or hopefully you understand that. But there's a major difference today and really last night following that Lakers loss on the approach, at least for me, the approach on handling the Lakers losing and the Bucks losing. We'll get to the Bucks in a minute. The LA Lakers going down that way, the LA Lakers losing their first game to a team, mind you, who, if all things were healthy, forget equal, healthy for Portland, would find themselves higher than an 8 seed, maybe a 7 seed, maybe a 5 seed, who knows, but definitely higher than an 8 seed. We've seen them play above their seeding since really the start of the bubble. All of that combined, LeBron has beat better teams with less around him. And to write off LeBron James right now is insulting to him. It actually is. To look at the Lakers and say, oh, they're cooked, they're going to lose this series, they're going to get swept, or anything along those lines is actually insulting to LeBron James and what he's done on the floor. Now, you may not like LeBron as far as all the things he does off the court. You may not like LeBron because of his demeanor or how he acts or trying to trademark Taco Tuesday, whatever it may be. You may have your little things that you don't like LeBron, and that stacks up. But that's different than totally ignoring everything that he's done in his career, especially this year where he's looked pretty damn good. Everything we've seen so far in LeBron James' resume would dictate that the Lakers are going to win this series. In fact, they probably win 4 straight. Now, I'm not going to go full Barkley on you and say, well, they're going to win 4 straight. It's going to be a sweep now because they lost the first game. But that would be the most likely scenario for me to play out right now. At Shander Show on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. is your phone number. It's pretty simple. The LeBron James-led Lakers are not going anywhere. Yeah, bipolar legend on Twitter weighs in. AD is a great player, but an all-time softie. You didn't get any of that from the analysis last night, huh? Nobody calling out Anthony Davis for playing a little soft. Nobody especially the same tone and demeanor that you got with Joel Embiid, who actually played pretty well, just wasn't enough because nobody around him did enough. That was a little surprising. Now, you can keep big men together in that category and talk about them in that same breath. But I'm not looking today, nor was I last night, and I lost that bet. I took them live at plus 6.5, the Lakers. Didn't cover. So it could easily come on here with some sort of angle, give you the typical ESPN, Peacock, CBS television stuff, which is just run down the same copy points. You know, the Lakers are done. The Bucks are done. And call for panic. I don't know what's going on locally in LA or Milwaukee as far as connecting with fans, but I guarantee you fans are upset. Here's one thing that we can apply. It is an insult to what LeBron James has done on the floor to now count them out and say they're going to lose this series. And you know what? He's afforded that. He is. He's afforded a luxury that nobody else, maybe outside of Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, would get. It sure as hell is not going to be Milwaukee. That was an embarrassment. That was a flat-out embarrassment. You may think that the Lakers feel some sense of embarrassment now. Orlando was not Portland. Orlando was not a team coming into this break, coming into the bubble, coming into the rejoin, coming into the postseason with some fire behind them. Now Orlando is healthy. You just watch. In fact, Orlando's still missing guys. And they came out and they smacked the Bucks in the face. Open hand, B-slap to the face, and Milwaukee just stood there. And here's Toronto standing by, Boston standing by, Jimmy Butler and his Heat standing by. They're all right next to him, just laughing. You let him play you like that? My goodness. And what's Milwaukee going to do? What are the Bucks going to say? What's the response from anybody on that team? Man, we just got to take it and move with it. We got to take it and roll with it. That's the only thing you're going to get. Because the reality is, right now, Milwaukee doesn't have anyone close to LeBron James with that resume, with that veteran presence, who has been there in the trenches, deep in the postseason, in the conference finals, in the NBA finals, and has had to come back and has had to win a game back to the wall. Man, if we don't win this, my legacy's on the line. I got to do something. And then inspiring everybody else to do something as well. Who's on that Milwaukee Bucks team that's going to do that? Look, Milwaukee isn't going to lose to Orlando. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and downplay everything that Barkley and others have said about a sweep coming with Portland and then try and play that now, even to the point in which Orlando would beat Milwaukee. That ain't going to happen. I know full well that's not going to happen. I'm not here to try to sell you something that won't be a reality. But what will be a reality is Milwaukee ain't making it to the finals. That is as clear as day to me. They just don't have it. They've got talent. They've got depth. They can play defense. They've got an MVP in Giannis, but they don't have it, which is wild because the NBA, usually all that other stuff, especially with an MVP, you should be guaranteed a seat, at least in your conference finals. I think Milwaukee gets there, but I've never felt better about what Toronto has done this year and what Toronto can do this year. Hell, it might even be Miami knocking off the Bucks at this point. Milwaukee has opened themselves up. They've shown weakness. The thing about LeBron and the Lakers, the major difference has to do with the resume. Being there before. That's everything in the NBA. Everything. You saw The Last Dance. You know how difficult it was for Jordan to clear that hurdle against the Pistons. How difficult it was for LeBron, for Shaq. All the times in which you see these guys in their first finals trip, leading a team, of course. You get knocked out. You get punched in the face and knocked out. And it's a learning experience. Nobody goes from out of the playoffs 2 straight years to leading a team to winning the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. What happened with Kawhi Leonard last year, going to Toronto, was not that. This man was already successful multiple times over on the finals platform and has proven that he is one of the best defenders, man-on defenders coming into last season, especially the job he did against LeBron in one of the finals against the Spurs. That wasn't anything new. It was just a unique situation that he went to this team that we didn't really think he'd go to, and then he won a championship, and then, okay, move on. But Milwaukee is that same team who lost last year. They'll be that same team until they bring in somebody who has done it or can work or connect with this team. They lack critical leadership. Nobody with that level of leadership goes down and has the years that they've had losing, and it's been unfortunate for them, but it's a reality. And then again, back at it this year with all of the expectations that you're pretty much assured a ticket to the NBA Finals and losing that game one, the way in which they did. And there's nothing you can point to, right? There isn't anything on Orlando's side that you can. Man, you know, if it weren't for Markelle Fultz, Bucks would have won by 20. Nope. You know, if it wasn't for, are we really going to talk about Vucevic like this? Are we really going to talk about Vuk like this? Are you going to pull that card right now, this early on the show, 11:24 in the morning, and talk about how Vooch was the big difference and the Bucks killer? If that's the case, then just knock Milwaukee out right now. If you truly are relying on that same mentality with Portland and trying to find it in Orlando, and you're doing it with Vooch or somebody else on that team, you're missing the point, and you're spinning your wheels, and you'll be stuck in mud. Ryan Peach on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show is how you can follow along. AD has been soft since Kentucky. I forgot if I was a documentary or series, but he was a freshman. Calipari's beating him up in practice to toughen him up. Look, that's going to be LeBron's issue now. That's going to be LeBron trying to make Anthony Davis into a playoff player, not just a regular season player. And that's going to be difficult. And it's not all on LeBron. You've got other veterans there. You've got a hell of an assistant coach as well next to Vogel. This shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't be. On Twitch, Bipolar Legend, 100% correct. Like him or hate him, LeBron and any four guys have a chance to beat anyone. I mean, he's proven that. Now, having somebody like Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, somebody that's really good along your side always helps. Nobody does it alone. Nobody has ever done it alone. But to that point, and what I'm saying here is you have to look at the past and apply it to the present. You have to. That's why Milwaukee is not going to lose this series, but I don't see Milwaukee making it past Toronto. I don't think Toronto right now believes they can beat Milwaukee like they did last year. They've done it without Kawhi Leonard all this year. That narrative is tired and old and dead. At Shander Show on Twitch, or no, Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. Got some good convo coming up here on the streams regarding the Lakers and Bucks. Anybody have any thoughts or suggestions on how I can open up this door? I'd love to hear that as well. It's the second level on SportsMap Radio.
Into the night.
Our good friend Adam Schefter zooming with us, Harry. Adam, now what about the first couple of games of the regular season? I mean, with no preseason games, they're not even allowed to scrimmage with other teams. How ugly will the first couple of games of the regular season become?
I think the brand of football that you're used to seeing will be a notch below what we've seen in other years. I think it usually opens the season that way, but what are you going to do? We all love the sport so much.
Hey, do you have the TNT final call?
But I think this year it could be the product even more diminished.
For which game?
Last night. Sorry, the Blazers one.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to come out with that?
That's the
Sure.
And as long as we have the games, they can play whatever diminished product they want. I don't really care. Listen, I just hope we have football for the season. You know, we'll be happy to see a diversion, a form of entertainment on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. And by the way, if there's no college football, who knows? Maybe Fridays and Saturdays too.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call!
Every week they took a Brinks truck and dumped a boatload of money. I keep using that term. I better stop. I better find another way to use it. And they
boatload of money?
I always say that. That's my catchphrase.
That's not
I know everybody says it, but I always use it. I use it too much.
What are you going to say instead?
I'm going to say shipload next time.
Oh, be careful.
That's right.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
If you made it through 30 seconds of that without just ripping your ears off your head, you deserve a gold star, a medal. At no point did I agree with anything he said. At no point did I understand anything he said. I like Russell Wilson, the player, but I'm sorry. The Seahawks should go 2-14 based off that video alone. And as a Jet fan, and the Jets own their picks, I hope they are terrible. I hope Mr. Unlimited has a terrible season and the Seahawks lose. And I like Russell Wilson, but I can't do it. That was horrendous. I mean, that is, what is he saying? And is that Sierra on the background being like, Russ, what are we doing? What was the purpose of that video? You made it through 30 seconds. God bless you and your family.
The Jake Osmond Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Let's go now.
You're listening to the Sports Map Radio Network, your home for Tony Bruno,
Some guy named Myers Leonard. I thought that was an electronics store in Indiana.
Scott Farrell,
I've thrown out 2 first pitches, and both times I threw heat. Rock star status.
Now you can take Sports Map Radio anywhere with the new Sports Map Radio Network app. Just search Sports Map Radio in your app store today.
Myers Leonard, his prices are insane.
Check out.
You're listening to The Second Level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Lillard and McCollum come alive, and for the second time today, the 8 seed wins Game 1. The Portland Trailblazers, a 7-point victory over the Lakers in Game 1, despite an historic effort from LeBron James.
Boy, who was that on TNT? Do you know, Ron? That wasn't Mike Breen, right?
It might have been.
I don't know. Can we hear it one more time, please? That's
Lillard and McCollum come alive, and for the second time today, the 8 seed wins Game 1. The Portland Trailblazers, a 7-point victory over the Lakers in Game 1, despite an historic effort from LeBron James.
Well, it was Chris Webber, right? So Webber was on that game. I don't think that Breen works with Webber. They wouldn't do that to Breen. Webber is brutal. Was that Ian Eagle? See, I don't know who Webber
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, me too. That's what I mean. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, who called the Lakers-Bucks game, Lakers-Blazers, I'm sorry, last night? That was one of the worst final calls you'll ever hear. Oh, my. And that was a national broadcast. That was television. We just played. That's courtesy of TNT right there. I can't find who was working with. All I saw last night was good news is I get to watch the Lakers and Blazers play. Bad news is Chris Webber's on the call. So I know at the very least that Webber was there. Man, that's so strange that it wouldn't be readily info, right? Like readily there for us to look at as far as who was calling these games. Boy, that was brutal. Blazer, an 8 just beat a 1. Man, maybe that guy did have money on the Lakers. Maybe he did look at the live line when I did and thought, hey, plus 6.5. Why the hell not jump on it? What a bizarre way.
All right, that was the announcers for last night. Brian Anderson, Chris Webber, Jared Greenberg.
Okay, Greenberg was the sideline guy.
Yeah,
He
so
wouldn't
Brian
be-
Anderson.
Who is Brian Anderson? Do we know?
No.
Wow.
Sounds like a former player, though.
Well, there was a Brian Anderson that played in the NBA, yes. Ron, look, we're not in the rip business by any means, but that was one of the worst final calls for the situation at hand in the Blazers knocking off the Lakers and everything that came from it. He did not sound excited at all. Is Brian Anderson from Los Angeles?
Sure.
He's probably a really nice guy, but man, that was brutal.
He just wasn't feeling it.
He's called play-by-play for the Brewers on FSN Wisconsin. So he's a baseball guy.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Is that
Can't have baseball guy doing basketball guy? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
He can't. He doesn't know how to do both sports.
Wait, I want to make sure I have the same Brian Anderson. There are a bunch of Brian Andersons here. Yeah, Brewers TV, TNT, TBS, NBA TV. Look, I'm not here to, although I feel like my call of the Phoenix Suns was about 1,000,000 times better than that. I'm not here to say I could do the job better, but I know that a bunch of people would have had a better call than that.
Well, how would your call sound at the end of the game?
It would have sounded like that Suns call. Do you remember that one?
Yes, of course I do.
Yeah, that's what it would have sounded like.
Would you have been like, and the Blazers shocked the world?
Yes, absolutely. Like, what's wrong with that?
It's only game one. That's why we can't be all in just yet.
It's not about, okay, I get what you're saying, where it's not about Brian Anderson then following up with, the Lakers are done, the Lakers are cooked, the Blazers have won, nothing like that, but that was zero energy.
You know how mine would have gone, right?
Do you have a pre-recording? We should have had you pre-record this.
No, mine would have been like, the Lakers suck again.
Yes. What's wrong with that? Yeah, look, I would have rather you come down on the Lakers than just have this
I would have pulled out
presentation.
I would have pulled out Waterboy Rob Schneider. Oh, no, we suck again.
Yes. Nothing wrong with that at all, man. At least it's better than somebody sounded like he was woken up. Was Anderson sleeping? Let me hear that one more time, please. I promise. Was Anderson sleeping? Did Chris Webber give him a little nudge? At one time during a Sixers broadcast, Eric Snow was the color commentator, and Mark Zumoff, who does a fantastic job of play-by-play on TV for the Sixers, now working with Ala Abdel-Nabi, but before it was Eric Snow. Snow fell asleep. He fell asleep during the broadcast, and Zumoff had to play it off and basically be like, hey, and did a fantastic job playing it off, but Eric Snow was basically like, sorry, man, I was asleep. He just admitted it on the broadcast that he missed what Zumoff said because he was falling asleep. Now, you could argue that's how bad the Sixers were, that they were putting people to sleep during tank mode, but this is the call last night, Brian Anderson on TNT, and I just think he could have done better.
Lillard and McCollum come alive, and for the second time today, the 8 seed wins game one. The Portland Trailblazers, a 7-point victory over the Lakers in game one, despite an historic effort from LeBron James.
No. Sorry.
No, he had money on the game, and it didn't go his way.
I can believe that. Our buddy Bipolar Legends all over the show today on Twitch. Oh, Twitter. I keep getting the two confused. I'm sorry. Sounded like he was reading a brochure for a timeshare rental. It did sound like he was reading a script, and it was like the familiarity of the script. You get a script. I have scripts that we read and stuff, and you get one, and you look at it, and you read through it, and maybe you read through it out loud, and then you say, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's roll tape. It sounded like that was the first go-through for Anderson. I don't know. I thought that it was a much more exciting moment than that. And that's what I get for watching with the volume down, because I knew ahead of time to stay away from that broadcast team with Chris Webber on the call. Looks like I played that one right. Hey, a lot of things going on in golf, including like everybody out there this week. We'll chat with Ryan Ballengee coming up next.
One of the biggest challenges we're all dealing with is wearing masks, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable breathable mask enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer those popular nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, and are in stock now. Order at boomernaturals.com. That's boomernaturals.com and use promo code MATT and save 20%. That's code MATT at boomernaturals.com.
Dell supports America's entrepreneurs during Small Business Month with all you need to office anywhere. Save up to 45% on computers and servers with Intel Core processors. Upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Plus, save on top brand tech while enjoying free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the tech that's just right. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
Third floor study hall.
First floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and other PPE products. Go to staples.com/20off PPE for your coupon.
In front of the TV.
No chance, kiddo. Staples. Shop in-store or pick up curbside. Ends 8/22. In-store only. Exclusions apply. See store for details. Curbside available in most stores.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. We train our students hands-on with real aircraft, develop their skills, and prepare them for real jobs in the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average aircraft technician in the United States makes over $62,000 a year.
The job opportunity is there. The money is there.
If you want to work with your hands, it's a perfect place for you.
Call 800-876-0097.
I'm very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, we've got a lot to get to with our next guest as we go out to the progressive guest line and welcome in Ryan Ballengee. At Ryan Ballengee is how you follow him on Twitter. Okay, sorry about that. I jumped the gun. I apologize. We'll get it. Now, this is a big week, and anything to take my mind off of what happened with Miles Sanders, who looks to be out for at least a week with a lower body injury. And this is huge for anybody that is about to draft or go into your fantasy football leagues, because I can tell you personally here in Philadelphia that Miles Sanders is going to be the workhorse this year. He's going to get a ton of carries. He's going to be thrown to a lot, and you'll probably see him as one of the top fantasy backs in the first couple of weeks easily with the amount of workload that was expected on him. Now I see this lower body injury.
Ryan's ready.
A source tells Tim McManus that he would be ready to play. That's always like the hypothetical.
Also, Koepka might be done for the year.
All right, let's look at some pretty big news here coming out in the world of golf beyond a tournament and gearing up for the playoffs. Ryan Ballengee at Ryan Ballengee on Twitter, at Golf Newsnet is the Twitter account for thegolfnewsnet.com. And we remind you that the newsletter is out. The break is out. So you've changed the name, Ryan. Is that right?
Yeah, I decided to go with the break. I thought it'd be like a clever pun, read the break, because that's what you do in the greens. And so that's what we settled on.
I love it. I love it. And it's at thegolfnewsnet.com where you can sign up for the break, which is the daily newsletter courtesy of Ryan Ballengee. All right, let's look at some big news where it looks like, speaking of a break, I don't know if this is a break for anybody else in the field or if it's simply where we've been kind of heading to after another disappointing finish last week. But what is the latest with Brooks Koepka?
I mean, as of yesterday, and I apologize because our power went out this morning, but
no worries, man. I've been there. Trust me, that's the worst. You got to get. You know what saved me is a Generac. This generator. For a while, I've never had a generator. Nothing. You just lose power. You light candles, but I assume you do a lot of work at home, right? So The generator is
yeah.
yes, the Generac is key. I should be doing reads for these guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
But I mean, Brooks is in an interesting place right now because he's tried to play coy about his knee situation, which feels like for months now, because every once in a while you can see a noticeable hobble, and then he goes, well, it's not that bad, and then sometimes it is bad, and he can barely walk, and sometimes he doesn't like walking hills, and he continues to kind of play coy with the whole thing about whether he's going to need another procedure, arthroscopic or otherwise, on that knee, which he had operated on basically a year ago, and then came back in Korea in October, and he re-aggravated it slipping on some concrete, and since then he's been dealing with it, and goes through these fits and starts where he puts up a great finish like at Heritage, the second event back, and then just plays like junk for a while, and all of a sudden he contends to win the PGA Championship, and then here we are in the playoffs, again seeming to play coy about how he feels about it week to week.
What is he really holding on to this year? It's been, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been more disappointing than not for Koepka. And if there really is an injury here, why not shut it down and come back next season?
I think part of it's hubris. I mean, you have to figure, hey, he got within 18 holes of winning a fifth major championship on a bum knee.
Fair.
So you think, all right, well, reasonable, sure. Then, okay, if he thinks he can play well for 3 weeks and get through the playoffs and somehow win a FedEx Cup and win $15 million, well, then you can go take a couple months off with a big deposit in your bank account. So I guess that's probably what he's thinking is, let's see how far I can get this thing. And if I can get it to the Tour Championship, tremendous. But otherwise, it really doesn't have any bearing on his life. And I guess he figures, too, that, a month from now, there's going to be a U.S. Open. So do you want to back out of the major that you've won 2 times or not? And so I think if I'm trying to read his mind, if he's going to have something done, it's going to be the week after, like the day after the U.S. Open, if he has an arthroscopic procedure done. That's going to be when then he would take basically that entire time off up until November, when he goes and plays the Masters. And that would give him at least a reasonable amount of time to potentially get recovered. It's basically 6 weeks to get recovered, 7 weeks. And maybe that's enough time for him to go ahead and shut it down for a little while and then come back and see what he can do.
All right, so Ryan, we begin the push for the FedEx Cup. We also have a couple of majors still left. So clearly the calendar has been altered because of COVID and having to balance some things around. But this is a pretty big tournament this weekend, looking at all of the big names that are there, including what we expect to be Tiger Woods, right?
Yes, I mean, this is a big week for the PGA Tour. The next 3 weeks are really big for the PGA Tour. And I know people online love to trash the FedEx Cup playoffs because it's a money grab, right? And we've been doing this since 2007.
So is
14
professional
years of history
sports.
now.
It's all a money grab.
Yeah, right. Welcome to professional sports, right? So, but in golf, there hadn't really been a money grab until this. And I think people in golf are still kind of hurt about that because, for whatever reason. But nonetheless, the FedEx Cup playoffs are a big deal. This tournament this week, the Northern Trust, has the highest strength of field rating in the history of the official World Golf Ranking that is not a major and not a World Golf Championships event. We just broke that record last month at Memorial. So the fields during the restart have been not only great, they have been record-breaking in terms of how deep they have been. So we're going to get that this week, we're going to get that next week, and then obviously we'll have fewer players, so there won't be a record. But the Tour Championship, we're going to have 30 incredible players competing for a $15 million first-place prize in a weird format that just actually happens to kind of work pretty well. So this starts that journey this week. We make a huge cut. We have 125 players in this field. It's the first time we've had more than 122 players in the field for this first event, because usually some guys drop out. But we got 124 of 125. The top 70 in the standings after Sunday go on to the BMW Championship. So this is a huge cut in the field for next week. There's a lot on the line. And it starts with getting to the weekend because this is the only playoff event with a cut.
I see Bryson has the top odds here, and it's not by much because everybody is in quadruple digits here. So Bryson's at 11-1 to win it. We can start with Bryson and then maybe move into somebody, if it's not Bryson, that you like as a favorite. Who is your favorite?
I think Bryson is my favorite. I think I saw JT was at 12 and Bryson at 12 in another book. So, they've kind of been installed similar places. So I would be surprised to see more money come in on Bryson, maybe drive it to 10. Because because he is a past champion here. This tournament is at TPC Boston. They used to host a tour event on its own for about 20 years, known as the Deutsche Bank Championship, Dell Technologies Championship, back when the playoffs were 4 legs instead of now 3. And so he's won here in the past. He seems to kind of have an affinity for this golf course then. He gained strokes on this golf course. He's got his confidence back seemingly based on how he plays the PGA. And we talked about that leading into the PGA, whether he would get it back. So he seems to have it back. That's a good thing for him. So I think between him and Justin Thomas, that's a fair place to start as your favorites.
How about Morikawa? In the year that he's had, the major that he's won, I see him at plus 138 for a top 20 finish, but to win it all, he's at plus 25, plus 550 for a top 5, and then it drops to plus 300 for a top 10. I don't know if you like him to win or if you like him to place in any of those.
I could look at a top 10. I mean, he could become number 1 in the world this week. That's a crazy thing to say about a guy who is professional for 14 months. But he can become the number 1 ranked player in the world this week with a win and potentially a solo second place finish, depending on how it all shakes out beneath him. So that's a lot of pressure. And I'm reluctant to say he is going to win because we've seen in pressure situations early on in his career. So when he realized, hey, I can beat Tiger Woods' cuts made streak as a rookie professional, that got to him. And every week it was like teetering on the edge until he finally broke. Now at 14 months into being a professional, he could be the number 1 player in the world. And you tell him that might have a bearing on how he performs. So I would throttle back on him a little bit this week. I absolutely love his game, but so far he doesn't seem to respond to the, hey, you can do something historic whisper very well.
Ryan Ballengee joining us at Ryan Ballengee on Twitter. We're live, twitch.tv/Shander Show, where you can watch along as well. Are you doing anything? Are you touching anything in the Tiger Woods market?
No. I mean, there's just not enough data points. I mean, he'll probably make the cut. I guess if you want to throw something on that, but that's probably a minus 250, minus 300 bet, I would imagine. So
what about birdie? I saw this today for a couple of guys, and I was going to throw it at you. And Tiger wasn't on my list, but since there's really nothing that jumps out about Tiger as far as placing, you can go anywhere from 0 to 3 all the way up to 7+ birdies in round 1. I guess it's just your feel for how well Tiger can do in round 1, but also knowing that you don't know what Tiger you're really going to get, right, until 3 or 4 holes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tiger's a live bet proposition at best right now, because then you can kind of feel him out in the round and then go from there. And obviously, you can't always do that. You can't always be in front of a TV set, or streaming it. But if you can do that, I think that's the way to play Tiger for a little while. The interesting thing is, if you look at the last time he played 4 times in 5 weeks, which was 2018, he started out pretty atrociously in the Northern Trust. That was back when there were 4 playoff events. Started out atrociously and then got better each time. And the final 2 events was T6, and then obviously won the Tour Championship for the big comeback win, right? So I think he is the kind of guy that, and I think he would say this, that he's going to get better the more reps he gets. So the more weeks in a row he plays, the better he's going to do. He has to perform well in one of the first 2 events to lock up a top 30 spot to get to the Tour Championship. He knows that. So he's going to try and probably lay some hay this week, because he's played pretty well at TPC Boston in the past. He has won on this golf course. So there's some reason to feel good about how he's going to play. But again, he's almost a 45-year-old man who hardly plays golf. So I don't know how you bet on that.
All right, speaking of betting, I took a risk, and I know it's a risk, but I guess round 1, I always feel better about this than the 4th day in a tournament with Dustin Johnson. I went under 68.5 for round 1 for DJ. Your thoughts?
I can buy that. I mean, the first 5 holes at TPC Boston, there are a couple different drivable par 4s or short par 4s. They'll play reasonably that way for DJ. So if he gets out to a good hot start, then maybe he's 2 or 3 under through 5. Well, now you just need 1 more into the house.
Right.
So that on a par 71, that's not that bad. I think I could get behind that bet for a lot of golfers, actually, for a lot of the longer players. Because if you're starting on the first tee and you're getting out there, you're going to get an opportunity to score early. Problem is, if you don't take advantage of those holes, you may start to feel the need to press because you realize you missed a huge opportunity. So I still like DJ on that number. I like that for day 1.
Is there a golfer whose game is designed for this course that isn't a favorite or heavy favorite that you really love? I mean, and I don't know if that matches up to the equation, but we talked about Harris English last week. Is there somebody that maybe is in the middle of this field that really plays or should play well on this course that you like as maybe an outside favorite?
I guess two down names that might be interesting, and that's Justin Rose for one. He has been so hit or miss in the restart. It's either a miscut or like a top 10, one way or the other, but you don't get an in between. But he has played well on this golf course in the past, was runner-up to Bryson the last time they had this tournament had a PGA Tour event at this venue. Jordan Spieth loves this golf course. The guy's lost, really lost, but maybe you like him maybe you throw a couple bucks on him as a first-round leader. He shocks the world a little bit. You probably get some really good odds on that because he likes this golf course. And Phil Mickelson, too. He seems to have found something in the last couple of starts and then just kind of stopped caring on the weekend at the PGA. But the last couple of times out, he's looked pretty good, and he does have a good record on this golf course, so he seems to like it. Maybe that's something worth throwing on a top 10 or top 20.
Are people still betting Ricky Fowler that his odds are as high as 66? I get it, to 1, but I'm pretty surprised that his odds are still as high as they are for a guy who you mentioned looking lost. I would imagine that would be a good definition for Fowler as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I am steering clear of Ricky Fowler for the foreseeable future until he gets his swing changes in order. It feels like he can really implement them. But, I mean, it's like him and Tony Finau. Like, people keep betting Tony Finau to win, and you just know what Sunday's going to be like. So why do you do that to yourself? You must hate yourself to do that. So,
right.
They're just guys who find Jordan Spieth. If you bet Spieth and you know his weekend scoring average, it is awful. Why would you do that to yourself? So, I think you have to look at guys like that and just look at their third and fourth round scoring averages and just say, yeah, they could finish in the top 10. And if you feel good about it, place that wager. But please do not wager on Ricky Fowler to win a golf tournament. Don't wager on Tony Finau to win a golf tournament until they prove to you otherwise.
I love it. Ryan, thank you as always, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully the power comes back on soon. At Ryan Ballingy, at Golf Newsnet, the Golf Newsnet. The Break is the daily news. What's the term? Newsletter. Sorry.
Newsletter?
You think I'd be able to get that out there. The daily newsletter is The Break. Thank you, brother. Be well, be safe, and we'll chat again.
Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it.
You got it. That's Ryan Ballingy. We'll wrap the hour next.
Wake up call.
I'm going to come back with the youth movement in baseball.
He is, and that's a great point because this is where baseball needs to figure out where it wants to go, right? There's always
hopefully
you think
a rule that gets broken. But
it'll be tight.
I'll just read really
into
fast.
the sport.
Is there anything
suddenly we have this debate about whether or not this is a problem.
Like a
generation of people who don't get it, who don't understand it, and don't.
What do you mean?
Like
he can't hit a grand slam because the pitcher is grooving one down.
No, I
gotta play that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll choose the shortest one.
That's all right.
Young generation is saying, why not? And then there's no other good explanation for it. So what are you supposed to do? Purposely ground into a double play? So LeBron James comes down and misses 4 shots in a row. I'm supposed to just let him shoot uncontested for the 5th one? Like the young generation looks at that. That's insane.
Wake up call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
What's an easier costume, the Gardner Minshew or me always being Jake from State Farm every year? I would say Jake from State Farm. All you need is khaki pants, a red polo shirt, print out the State Farm logo, print out a name tag that says Jake, and you're ready to go. It is the go-to costume of mine because it's easy and people always laugh. And unlike other people that do it, my name is actually Jake.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
The second level.
For the fake news, the third story, which is Jake Asman schooling you on a tweet I sent over the weekend.
This is the result of that said tweet. I got to talk to the guy after you who tweeted out that a new name was going to be announced in 15 minutes. Did you see that
Yeah,
tweet?
so I think Eitan was making the joke, basically being like, oh, we have a bad PR story. Well, let's announce a new name so no one's talking about Darius.
Well, that
Guys,
was a bad joke. It went over my head.
yeah, he fooled you. See, I'm on Eitan's level there. He was doing a little like joking troll, being like, oh, watch them put out their name now. No one will talk about Darius. Guys, we'll be talking about their new name.
That was awesome. And thank you, Jake Asman,
Look at that guy standing up for me, and he said even I'm on his level. Jake Asman is on the second level. I was trying to bring you up there with that joke on Friday. I can't believe, of all people, you took it literally.
The second level with Eitan Shander, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Pharrell.
Coast to coast! Is Saturday pro football not better than sex? If the NFL played Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever, even though she's smoking hot and I love her. I mean, if there's football on Saturday and Sunday, pro football to bet on, I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday football. Screw college football.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
We've been telling you about the perfect balance between comfort and protection with the Boomer Naturals mask. It's what we all recommend here on SportsMap Radio, the 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask. They come in sizes for adults, teens, and children, and they're in stock now. And guess what? They'll ship to you really fast. Big reason, the reason why these are highly protective, the nano silver technology that's woven into the fabric. Nano silver can block the tiny drops and particles from getting to the nose and mouth. And that's what we want right now, the best protection. Boomer also offers the popular nano silver neck gaiters. Order now, boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SPORTS. Save 20%. That's code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Save 20%. Get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. Boomer donates one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need. We love that. boomernaturals.com. All right. You need one more, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Automotivemap.com, a website for anyone interested in the automotive world. Whether you want to check out the latest auto news, read reviews on the newest vehicles, see some vintage rides, or get tips to keeping your family safe on the road, Automotivemap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting the showroom, then head over to Automotivemap.com. That's Automotivemap.com.
Into the night.
Over the weekend, I wasn't on the internet much. I was just chilling by.
Well, you were in a pool.
I wasn't in the pool all the time, but I was playing with the chickens. I was picking eggs, helping my son work on his outboard motor. Yeah, I'm doing like all kinds of country
eggs.
things. Yeah, we go every day.
You gather. You don't pick them.
I pick.
You gather
Was
eggs.
this like an egg hunt?
No. My
No,
son
they're
has
chickens.
14 chickens, and they walk around all day, and they're eating everything.
Right.
It's amazing. Chickens roam around, but they know when to go home at night.
They're like
Seriously.
me.
Yeah, they're like Harry. Hey, it's about time. It's getting a little dark out there. Let's get the hell out of here, man. Some possum's going to come up and eat
Chickens
us.
go home to roost. Harry, that's what he does. He goes home to roost.
And I always say the chickens are going to come home to roost
That's
one
right.
of these days, and they do every single night. And then I would lead them in. I was actually leading a brigade of chickens.
You know, I needed video of that. Were you doing a show for the chickens? Like as
No,
you
they
were
love
walking
me.
around?
The chickens are great. You pick them up, they walk up to you.
Yeah.
I am the chicken whisperer. They're awesome.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays, weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Into the night.
So we found out that white pros in the bubble are doing the beer shotgunning. J.J. Redick and some guy named
Myers Leonard.
Myers Leonard. I thought that was an electronics store in Indiana. Go to Myers Leonard today and get yourself a brand new 75-inch plasma.
50% off on VCRs.
Harry, it's Myers Leonard. His prices are insane.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays, weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call.
Can I tell you a little funny blurb from my radio travels?
Of course.
When I was in Colorado Springs, it was one of those years where the West was just killing everybody, whereas the East, losing records, were getting like 6 seeds. So Benjamin Hockman, who works in St. Louis, is a good friend of mine, and he covered the Nuggets at the time. I said to him, this is like a Halley's Comet type of year for the Western Conference. We never see this very often. He goes to Denver and he talks to George Karl, and he says, this is kind of like a Halley's Comet type of year. And I'm listening, I'm going, wait, that's my line. But here's where it gets even trickier. Karl agrees to it, and then Karl in a press conference like a day later says, this is kind of like a Halley's Comet year in the Western Conference, where 50 games will get you in. No one is going to believe me that was my line. That's my line. That's not his. That's not Ben Hockman's line. That's my line they're using.
Wake Up Call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call! Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving
superhuman.
Ooh,
I'm not
Neil.
outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly you know I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us too. And everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake Up Call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
The $5 footlong at Subway remains the biggest lie in our society. Someone needs to hold Subway accountable. I'm tired of it. The $5 footlong has never been $5. It never will be $5. It's a scandal that needs to be covered. A politician should run a campaign on railing against
what's the
$5
do you know what the
footlong
favorite
platform.
team is in the
If I'm
state
going
of
to run
Idaho?
to be an elected official, I'm running on the platform that the Subway $5 footlong
football team, I'd probably say Boise State.
No, NFL.
society for the better.
Most popular NFL team in every state.
All the lies.
Okay. Idaho, I would venture and say it would either be Seahawks or Niners.
Oh, not bad.
$5 footlong at Subway is
You got one of them, right?
I did?
Yeah.
Was it Seahawks?
Yeah.
Figured.
$5 footlong, you're part of the problem.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from
How
9
far is
to 11
Boise to San
Eastern.
Fran?
Oh, I have no idea.
SportsMap Radio Network.
Let's face facts. It really is amazing.
Your home for Tony Bruno.
He has a take, but he sort of sucks at the same time. You know, you had a take or two, but for the most part, I got to run.
And Scott Farrell.
Did they choose just one state? And
No, I have all 50.
no, but is it just one team in California?
Yes. So you know what
4-7 Radio Network is.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it's the team that's been there forever.
I guess, would that be the Niners? Or is it the Raiders?
No, the Niners, sorry.
Niners?
Well, I guess you could say the Raiders, yeah. But no, it's the
Mask
Niners.
enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those
Idaho,
tiny drops and
Boise is on the
particles
same
from
line
getting
as
to your
Eugene.
nose and mouth. They also offer those popular nano silver
Boy,
neck
Idaho
gaiters,
is a
available in
gigantic
sizes
state.
for adults and
What
children,
is
and are
it,
in
Idaho?
stock now. Order at boomernaturals.com.
Half
Lakes,
the state
mountains,
is covered. Yeah, it's covered
potatoes.
by forest.
Code Matt at
You think
Boomernaturals.
people in Idaho are sick of potatoes?
I think they're sick of people thinking that all they eat are potatoes. But you tell me another food that you can have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks.
That's why Mattress Firm came up with the Assured.
Can you do eggs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks?
Yeah.
Because you can have
Snacks is going to be tough, though.
yeah, you got to like hard boiled eggs, I guess, or deviled eggs.
Only available online. Visit mattressfirm.com for details.
But really, I mean, I guess that'd be the only two, right?
I don't know.
This is
Put
a
that out
Gal
on
Media
Twitter.
property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level. Let's go.
I mean, people are going
Second
to say
level
pizza
thinking
and other
is
stuff,
defined
but I
as
mean,
looking beyond the easy.
you're
obvious
talking about
conclusions.
legit.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
We've got a busy second hour as we'll look at James Franklin's comments and where the Big Ten stands right now with college football being played or not, for that matter. I mentioned this briefly before we had our talk with Ryan Ballingy about a major injury that could have national fantasy implications for your football team this year. And that had to do with Philadelphia Eagles running back Miles Sanders. It looks as if he's going to be okay for the time being, but still, it's a major blow if, in fact, he misses a game or two, especially if you've drafted or you plan on drafting Miles Sanders. Fake news with Rod Culver, and I'm just going to ask you one quick question. Did the zoo closing make it?
Say that again?
Did the zoo closing make fake news?
No.
Okay, so we can talk about that.
You can talk about a zoo closing.
Okay. Well, it's made famous by a certain person, and it's closing. I thought you brought this up like last week Why is this a new story today? That's why I wanted to reference it.
Well, tell me about it.
Well,
I'll let you know if I brought it up or not.
The zoo made famous by Tiger King is closing. I thought you brought that up sometime last week, maybe even in a fake news story. Or
Well,
was
I
it
brought
all
up-
Carol Barnett?
Not Carol Barnett,
Oh,
Carol
not
Baskets.
Sorry, not Carol Barnett. I apologize to the Barnett clan.
Yes. No, I made up a fake story about Carol Baskins doing something
That's
stupid.
right. Okay. But it was made up. It wasn't real.
It wasn't real.
Got it. Okay. That's what the confusion
So is this the one that Joe Exotic used to own?
Yes, the
now
the
that's
Wynwood
owned by
Exotic
the
Animal Park.
And then it's owned by the guy who thinks he's God's gift to women.
Is that the dude who's also in Tiger King?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park permanently shut its doors on Tuesday. That's yesterday. Maybe they were just tired of it. Like people in Idaho, I'm sure, are tired of potatoes. Trust me, there's a reason why I brought that up. We have the favorite team in every state. We've got Penn State football messing up the Big Ten and more.
At CDW, we get that migrating your business to a hyper-converged infrastructure is challenging.
Like me switching to decaf. Gotta do it, don't want to do it, but gotta do it.
Whoa, slow down, friend.
Iowa.
CDW's experts can help you simplify the transition from legacy to hyper-converged infrastructure
Now, I
with Dell
disagree with this
technology
one here.
solutions that offer speed and agility.
Do it, do it. Have you done it? Is it done yet? Why isn't it done yet?
IT orchestration by CDW.
TheActiveTimes.com. I've
Find
never
out
heard of them.
more at cdw.com/Dell Tech.
Indeed knows you've got big goals for your business, and we understand hiring is a crucial part of that. You need to hire people who will make a real impact. Indeed can help you find those important hires faster while paying only for what you need without any long-term contracts, thanks to our super flexible payment options. Start finding your important hire today with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high impact. That's Indeed.com/high impact. Terms and conditions apply.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com. It's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
From muscle pain, body aches to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles,
Do you know
joints,
who is voicing
and more.
these new McDonald's
Blue
commercials?
Emu Maximum Arthritis.
Who is that?
It works fast, and you won't.
They're awful.
You mean this? You mean the Blue Emu right here?
No. I
Other
mean McDonald's on TV.
Or
No, I have no idea.
emu.com.
Brian Cox.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level
No
on
way,
the
right?
SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
I have this here in front of me now. I've got a little bit of a beef with it, but we can kind of go through it. Some of them will be obvious. The most popular NFL team in every state, and that is according to the ActiveTimes.com. Now, they actually had some level of criteria here, including the methodology. The Active Times reached out to ticket marketplace Vivid Seats, which broke down 2019 ticket orders by state and included the district. The data is based on regular season games only. Now, the problem, of course, is that you are restricted to geography here. I don't necessarily know if that's true, where you see fair weather fandom all over the nation. So a super popular team, for example, may be more popular in that state we're talking about. Let's say, for example, we'll start in alphabetical order here and go with Alabama. Now, if I were to ask Ron Culver, what is the most popular NFL team in the state of Alabama, you can't come back and say Alabama football, okay? Well, they're really pros anyway, saving all. No.
They're all being paid. Why can't I say Alabama?
That's semi-pro. That's like G League in the NBA level.
Am I supposed to answer Alabama?
No. That was
you're not gonna ask me Alabama.
I'm going to. You are supposed to answer the best football.
You're not going through all 50, right?
No, some of them are obvious. I'm not going to ask you what the most popular football team is in the state of Seattle or Washington. I mean,
Niners.
No, it's the Seahawks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Alabama, though, is...
Can't believe you fell for that.
I know. That's like you falling for the Washington team name tweet. So what's the most...
Still waiting, by the way.
I know. I think I even got a tweet from somebody like 3 days ago. You bastard, why did you lie to us? What's the most popular NFL team in Alabama? What's the first team that comes to mind?
My guess would be Falcons.
Because of proximity, right?
Yes.
See, that's what ruins this whole thing now, is that we have to just look at, well, what's the closest? I don't necessarily... Do you honestly think Alabama has a ton of football fans because of how great and successful Alabama is?
Yeah, because where their players head off to.
Exactly, the NFL.
But don't come at me and tell me it's the Vikings.
No. I think that, see, the problem is that the Falcons have a longer history. But I would not be surprised if you saw fandom take over for the Titans more so than the Falcons.
Not true.
Why?
Or
I lived in Nashville. Tony D's in Nashville. We could hit him up.
No, I'm trying to think. Top players who graduated from Alabama or who played at Alabama.
Well, I mean, are you talking about going back to Lemansky Hall, or are you talking about recently?
Recently, all the way back. I mean, you can go back to Joe Namath. I know he was a quarterback there. Then you might have a few Jet fans in Alabama because they don't have a team.
Yes, but I feel like if we're talking about proximity,
right? If we're talking proximity, I would say Falcons.
I don't know.
Why? Who is it?
Well, Derrick Henry went. Did Derrick Henry not rush for thousands of yards?
They don't care about him.
He is the MVP of the Titans, which is like right over the border. If you're in Huntsville. Even down to Montgomery.
Who's the favorite football team of Alabama?
Well, it is. You're right. It is Atlanta.
The Falcons.
Yes, but I disagree with this notion. Is my point. I don't think they're looking at season.
I'm just glad you said Falcons. I was waiting for you to come back. And go. It's neither. It's the Patriots.
No. You got it right. Now, what about Alaska?
Alaska.
As a famous comedian once said.
God, I would say either Niners or Seahawks.
You can only make one guess. This isn't like two here. It is Seattle.
Out of 32 teams, I could guess. I could throw up two.
Okay. What about Arkansas? Little more difficult now.
Yeah. Right? Rams? Back when the Rams were in St. Louis?
That's not a bad guess, man.
No, it's not at all. That's why I came up with it.
That's really not.
Or Bears.
No, you're looking in the wrong direction. You should be looking south.
Oh, Cowboys?
Yes.
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid, stinking Cowboys. I know. Now, do you have a problem?
Are Cowboys the number one team in Texas?
I'll get you. I'll get to that. Actually,
okay.
I don't think they are. To be honest with you, they might still.
I think no, they are.
Yeah, just because of season tickets, that would be it. What about Pennsylvania?
I would say if it's one or the other,
it's only going to be one or the other right now.
If it's one or the other,
and remember, we're only talking about ticket sales.
No. I'm going to say if it's one or the other side is going to riot when you tell them.
Absolutely right. And
it doesn't matter who it is. So based on that,
and why I would even bring it up in the first place.
Here's why I would say the Eagles, because Philadelphia is larger than Pittsburgh, correct?
And
so I would say Eagles.
You are correct. And
And now Steelers are going to succeed
Steelers
from
fans,
the union.
Exactly right. What? Are you kidding me? We're not the most popular NFL
now,
team.
you know
Buy
what
more
you-
tickets.
What you did now, Eitan, is that you created West Penn and East Penn.
Well, that's already here, except West Penn is technically anywhere outside the Delaware Valley. I could go 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia and be in West Pennsylvania. It might not look at it in the map, but it does as far as where you are in the country. Virginia, this is an easy one, right? You would think, right?
Well, I can't say the team name, right?
Well, it's the Washington football team.
Yeah, the Washington football team. Sorry,
Right.
Which I still want. Can I just say Washington FC?
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. I'd rather throw an
Football
English
club.
flair on it.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, I'm going to steal that.
You should.
From now
you don't
on.
have to. You know what? You don't have to steal it. You can borrow it. Just give me credit.
Yeah, but I can't give you credit every time I say it.
You have to.
I'm
It's
on
my
other
royalty.
shows, other channels. I mean, what if I just casually say, well, the Eagles versus Washington FC, and there's a 3-point line? Do I have to stop everything and
Yep.
credit Ron Culver?
Credit at Ron Culver on Twitter.
How many times
Ron
do I
with
need
two
to do
Ns.
this? If I've already credited you once, doesn't that carry it? Doesn't that just hold now in perpetuity?
Every single time.
Every single time? All right, now I can't say that. Wyoming.
Fine. Every third time.
Okay,
And I
I can-
want you to keep track.
That's fine. I can do that. I can at least make a list. Wyoming. Any thoughts on the most popular football team, NFL team in Wyoming?
My guess would just because, and this is solely based on proximity, Broncos.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah, I know my 50 states. I know where they're all located.
Well, you also could just have a map in front of you right now.
I don't have a map in front of me. I have a photographic memory of this map.
Is that right? All right, I'm going to
I'm
give
an
you one.
American. I know where all the 50 states are.
You just barely got Boise, Idaho. You barely got Idaho.
I had two guesses.
Yes. Now, what about Connecticut? What about
See,
that?
that one's tough.
Uh-huh.
My first instinct would be Patriots, but I believe that more people live towards the city side. So,
Well, Connecticut itself is split in half between
Yeah.
a suburb of New York and a suburb of Boston.
right. I'm leaning towards Giants or Jets. So, and you're going to make me pick one. So I'm going to go Jets because of history.
What history? Like, that is the luckiest guess that was out there. Come on. It
No, the
should have been
Jets-
Patriots or Giants.
No, the Jets have been. If you look back at the history, I mean, the Giants were a great team as well, but I think there's more of a fan cult following for the Jets ever since Super Bowl III.
Oh, first off, as somebody who spent over 12 years of my life, 14 technically years of my life in Southern Connecticut, I can tell you for a fact that it's a bunch of fair weather Giants, Yankees, Rangers fans. That's it. Now, they may be buying tickets for some corporate event for a Jets game, but what history? You're going back to Super Bowl III? That's the history you're giving me?
Hey, don't besmirch the power of Joe Namath. Joe Broadway Namath.
Yes, that's 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
He still got pull.
No,
what can I say?
I'm
He still
sorry.
got pull. He has fans in Alabama.
Well,
there
sure,
are,
he
there are
went
people
there.
in Alabama who are Jets fans. I said it earlier.
Sarah, but not to the point in which, look, it's the same thing with New Jersey. Same team for New Jersey, the New York Jets. That's just not accurate. There's no way that New Jersey is supplying all the Jets fans. The
Listen,
Jets
Giants fan, you're okay.
Look, the Jets
I
fan,
know you're a fan. I know you're a secretive fan of the Giants. It's
Never,
all right.
never
you
in
can,
my
you
life.
can admit it.
Never in my life have I put on
No
anything
one in
that color.
Philadelphia is listening right now. You can go ahead. You can admit
Well,
it
that's
to your Uncle
probably
Ronnie.
true, but still, it's no. I would never, ever admit. I've been to Mets games as a kid. I was taking a Met, but I was raised as an Eagles fan first and foremost. So my uncle's from South Philadelphia, and I grew up in New York City, then Southern Connecticut, and just always had the Eagles there. So I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to root.
So let me ask
for
you
any other
something.
team.
Was it tough watching Patriot fan Mark Wahlberg act as one of the greatest Eagles of all time?
Well, you're assuming that I saw that movie,
Invincible.
right?
Oh, I am assuming you saw Invincible.
Yes.
Sorry, I forget.
No, I'm not the typical Philadelphian where
You should
all
watch
you need
that
to
movie.
do-
You'll like.
Invincible?
You'll
I know
like.
Vince Papale. We could get Vince on the show. He's a really good dude.
We should ask him if he minded.
Oh, I'm sure
a
he'd love it.
Patriot fan playing him.
I'm sure because
Not take the Wahlberg out of Mark. All right, I want to know what he feels about a Patriot fan.
well, I think it was secondary to having somebody that was so recognizable it would do wonders for the movie, right? I mean, think about it. If it's
That's true.
your story or my story, and who's the biggest rival for the Chargers right now, would you say? The Raiders?
The Raiders.
Okay.
So if I had Derek Carr portraying me? Or no,
the
who's a
most
Raider
famous,
fan?
Ice
Ice Cube.
Famous, exactly.
If Ice Cube played me in a movie,
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
No, not at all. It would be tertiary what team that guy roots for. And look, to be honest,
Well, I mean, Ice Cube and I are very similar
in style and stature.
in the way, the way we present ourselves.
Yeah, that would be an easy role for Cube to fill. Absolutely. That would be an easy one. All right,
I think it would be a stretch. It would be Oscar worthy if Cube portrayed me in a film.
Well, yes, but what would the movie be?
My life story.
Okay, so
rags to riches.
Cube coming
I'm
in.
still waiting on the richest part.
Well, yes.
Then I need Cube to get to the richest part. So that would, be a win-win.
That would be the advancement of the story, is that
Exactly.
Cube takes it to the Hollywood level of actual riches. But do you think, can you imagine Ice Cube coming in and sitting with you for these 3 shows for like 2 weeks as you see some actors try and sit with like
you
a
mean
police
him?
officer?
You mean him? Like him sitting behind me trying to figure out all the little insecurities that I have,
or just like what you're doing and what you're dealing with. Like, do you imagine how many times he would be like, "What is this guy even saying about me or Jake or even Tony for that matter?" That would be something. I would like to see that. I would like to see the making of Ice Cube.
What you
getting
want?
your role.
No, what you want? You want to replace me with Ice Cube so that way you can ask him, Tony, Jake, or Eitan. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, we could get Cube in on that. We definitely could. We need to bring that back tomorrow, by the way. But yeah, we can definitely bring that and hit Cube with a couple of those, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
All right, real quick. Tony, Jake, or Eitan, who Facebook stalks?
Jake. I don't know why. I went, honestly, I went through, I know Tony has gone off, look at his, high school buddies and stuff like that. I know he's done that. I figured you have done the same because we all have. But, but it was the word stalk and I just add to it. And I thought, Jake, I don't know why.
All right. Last one, and we'll hit fake news coming up. Tony, Jake, or Eitan. We'll bring it back on its usual segment there, 11:25 Eastern tomorrow on Thursday's show. Tony, Jake, or Eitan, who would survive in the woods with just a hatchet? You can talk your way through it. Now I feel like I'm disconnected or something.
Into the night.
What happened?
Here with Tim Brando, Fox.
Nothing. I couldn't answer it, so I went to break.
Oh, okay.
Ken hasn't actually made it official, but the commission.
You had to make me come back and repeat it.
Okay.
Or say it.
And then he puts his finger up and he
That's
licks
great.
it and puts it in the air to see which way the wind's blowing before he cancels the Big Ten season.
Sadly, it sort of looks that way. There's a lot more to it than that. And I've been pounding the pavement for almost 2 decades, saying we need one voice for college football. We need unified and universal leadership. How in the world did we get to this point where we find out from the commissioners of the Power 5 that each stinking one of them has their own Anthony Fauci? 5 epidemiologists aren't going to agree on anything. And the fact is no epidemiologist from
Virginia.
the Southeastern Conference or ACC is having consultation at all with the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the Big 12 is absurd.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
In no world is Lamar Jackson a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. I love Lamar. Did he deserve to win the MVP last year? Obviously. But if you ask any NFL executive who would they rather have right now, Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, the executive that tells you Lamar Jackson is being paid a large sum of money by someone that really loves Lamar Jackson.
The Jake Osmond Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Pushing me out.
18,000 for the Georgia
Wes
Florida
Carpenter
game.
covers the
Wow.
Washington NFL franchise for the Washington Post. There were such rampant rumors flying around. I'm sure you guys heard about that. How difficult was that? There were just such craziness around what you guys were going to put out.
There were some people in the media, mostly in this market, that kind of said that early on, and I think that allowed everyone to sort of let their imaginations run wild. That's what upsets me the most. Yeah, I can't say this enough. 50 women had the courage to come forward and talk about their experiences, and I feel like in some ways that has been belittled just some of the things I've seen on the internet, and that's just disappointing. This is not nothing story. This is serious. And, I realize there's a lot of people who would like the owner con, would like, things to change with the franchise in that regard. But please listen to what these women are saying. It is so important. And I use the word heartbreaking, but that's the word that just kept coming back to my mind. I just can't believe they went through this.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Pharrell.
Coast to coast. Is Saturday pro football not better than sex? If the NFL played Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever, even though she's smoking hot and I love her. I mean, if there's football on Saturday and Sunday, pro football to bet on, I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday football. Screw college football.
I just sent you Adam's number for
weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Boy, I had like 5 things I wanted to do today. Can't get that in.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's a weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
Well, real quick, if I could just jump in here, what the hell just happened?
I couldn't come up with an answer, so I said, let's just go to break.
I thought you would
because
like
you know what? Honestly, I don't think any of you guys could survive in a forest in the woods with just a hatchet.
Well, I think me and Tony are out. What about Jake?
Nah, Jake would be first to go.
Okay. Just checking.
God. I mean, that was the easier ones. Like, which one of us would be the first to go? Jake.
Okay, that's fair. I thought like I got disconnected or something. You just had the show. And it's like,
I
let's get to
gave
Peralt
up
early.
I said, we can't do this one. I'm tired of burying Jake. But
okay.
We would end up having to bury Jake. He would be the first to go in the woods
And
by
we
himself.
would literally have to bury him in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Now, is there a theme today?
I don't know.
It's been that type of show.
I
just told you
just
break.
all over the place.
I had 5 things I wanted to get to today. This James Franklin thing. And do you have any thoughts or ideas real quick before we even get to fake news? And we have Adam Thompson coming up, so we can push him for a couple of minutes if we need to rehash the fake news as well. But do you have any thoughts on what I can do with these doors that I'm dealing with?
What doors?
So I opened up the show talking about how I can't open my front door. It's been warped shut. It's a wooden door, and it's been warped shut.
You mean to your house?
Yes, to my house. My front door to the house
fantastic.
doesn't open. Yeah, it's nice. Trust me. Until you get packages like I get packages. I get stuff sent to me from Amazon.
So you got to go all the way around?
I do. Now, look, it's a first world problem. I'm not complaining about it, but I would like to at least fix the door. And now I have other wooden stuff in my house that I can't physically open because everything has been warped shut.
I think your house is falling down.
That problem, though, is it's not. There's no issues, knock on wood, but we're not having any issues.
Well, one thing you can do is you can probably, what one can do, and, Twitch people back me up on this, is take the door off the hinges and then shave whatever side is warped most with a plane.
Do you know how much of a hassle that's going to be?
Yes, that's why I brought it up.
I have to put up a whiteboard.
Tony, Jake, or Iton, who would do that, Tony?
Not me. You could take me out right away. And we know Jake, he needs
No, I'd have to do it for him.
Yes.
I'd have to do it for him.
All right, I just, that is the worst answer I could get, which is actual physical labor. Isn't there some spray I can put on the door?
Some magic spray?
Yes, like WD-50 or something for wood?
You know what? Try it.
Okay.
You don't know. Hey, you know what? Better yet, rub some butter on it.
Okay. I have tons of butter.
Doubt that'll work.
Tons of butter. Look, I'm trying anything at this point.
If you do try to do the butter, please film it.
I might film myself taking the door off and shaving it down.
I think that would be fantastic.
Okay.
All you got to do is you just have to find what part is causing the issue and just shave that part down. You don't have to shave the whole thing. Or just go grab some. You don't even have to take it off the hinges. Just grab some sandpaper. Okay. Sand it down.
Okay, fair enough. I was just curious. I thought I'd get a better answer from you. Like, just go out and buy this spray at Ace Hardware. And
your tip at this is Ron's tip at laziness. Instead of getting a guy in cheap laziness, cheap lazy labor.
I think you just created a new segment. Can we do that? Ron's lazy tip of the day.
I got plenty of them.
I'm sure you do. All right, let's get.
I will say this though. I will get the fake news in a second.
Yes.
I did fix my own toilet the other day. My own toilet has been leaking for a little bit.
You fixed the leak.
I fixed the leak. I went on YouTube and figured out. Like, I had to watch a couple of videos because every time I watched one, it was like, well, that's not the problem. So I put it back together, and it still happened. And I had to keep doing it over. I finally found the right video to watch. Did it
okay.
myself.
Very cool.
proud. I'm a plumber.
That's what you do, man. You're a plumber. I love it. All right,
Yep.
what's story 1?
Story number 1. Twin sisters who married twin brothers at Twinsburg Twins Day Festival are pregnant at the same time. But no word yet on if they're pregnant with twins.
Well, a lot of twins here. Was this in Minnesota?
Where is Twinsburg? I thought Twinsburg was in Ohio.
I don't know. I just thought it would go well with the twins.
Well, the twins, the female twins, they're originally from Australia. So you know what that means.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know what that means either. But usually people out of Australia are hot.
Okay. That's what it is.
So twin sisters who married twin brothers. Well, they met
pregnancy?
each other. The twin sisters did. They thought they've shared every life moment with each other. Why not share this with each other?
Were they physically
They all
sharing
live together too.
Okay. Wow, this is bizarre. Is this a television show? Is this on YouTube? Is this does this come on after the Gronks?
It was on, their wedding was on TLC, if that makes any difference. Because they met, the sisters met the brothers at the Twinsburg Twins Day Festival.
Oh, okay. I got it. A couple of twins meeting a couple of twins.
And then they married each other,
Okay.
which has got to be weird, right? Because, I mean, can you go to your sister and like, man, your husband's hot?
Well,
I mean, can you say that?
If you say you're
'Cause
hot,
your
and
husband-
you're also saying your sister is hot.
No, but I'm saying, can you say that about your sister's? Like at that time, you say that about your sister's fiance because she looks exactly like your fiance.
Yeah,
you can get away with saying that, right?
I think you can. Yeah.
Do you think there was ever a mix-up?
Oh yeah, I'm sure at some point there was a mix-up.
Do you think there's a film based on those sort of mix-ups?
Like a movie that has been created?
Yes, but not for children. I'm guaranteeing there is.
Like an adult film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And yes.
It could be a common problem.
Yeah, I mean, they're ripping off comic books and making into an adult movie. I'm sure you have something like that as well.
That was probably day one, right? What crazy thing we do? How about twins marrying twins?
Exactly. All right, what's story 2?
Story number 2, an Australian man.
Why? This is Australia.
Well, it's okay. How about this? Well, they live in America now.
The twins.
But the twins are originally from Australia. But an Australian man down in Australia set a world speed record on a Segway, topping out at about 73 miles per hour. He hopes that the distance and time qualifies him for a Guinness World Record.
Wow. I can't imagine.
Can you imagine doing a Segway at 73 miles per hour?
Not at all.
Man, I guarantee you that I would eat you know what.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
I don't know if I'd be dead.
73 miles per hour? You're on a Segway. You're not
I'd be on a helmet.
That helmet
I'd wear a helmet.
As Jerry Seinfeld once said, that helmet is now wearing you for protection.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You're done, man. You fall off 50 miles per hour. Imagine the contact and the impact. All right, what's story 3?
Story number 3. 2020 has given us some craziness. Wouldn't you agree? But in Olten, Switzerland, it started to rain chocolate.
No.
Yes.
How?
The Lindt factory had a malfunction, and through the ventilation, cocoa powder was spraying up through the ventilation and down onto the town of Olten.
Oh, what an amazing thing. I hope that's true just because of the probability.
You would want to rain. You would want it to rain chocolate.
I would. I mean, the probability of something like that happening is insane. And if it rained chocolate, I would. It's raining right now where I currently sit here in Philadelphia. So I would much rather change out the rain for chocolate.
Just picture when you get like that fine dusting of snow.
Oh yeah,
That's what this is. Which is, everything
cocoa
looks.
powder.
It looks gross. Yeah, I mean it's muddy looking or just dirty looking, but it'd be a fine coating of cocoa powder.
All right, I'm gonna say story 1 is fake, and it's more so on like a technicality than anything else.
Oh, you think I flip-flopped which twin is marrying which twin?
Or just some detail is just off a little bit. Or
like
maybe
twin
it's all
girl
fake.
A. Twin girl A is not marrying twin
Yeah, maybe
boy
it's
A.
all
He's
fake.
actually marrying twin boy B. No. The fake story today is actually the Australian man setting a Segway.
Where did you get that from?
I got a weird sense of humor.
You just made it up? We'll talk about that.
Supports America's entrepreneurs during Small Business Month with all you need to office anywhere. Save up to 45% on computers and servers with Intel Core processors. Upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Plus, save on top brand tech while enjoying free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the tech that's just right. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help,
Oh, we got a hockey game.
offering supplies and solutions for
game.
every industry. Free access to product specialists,
You got Adam's
24/7
number, right?
support,
Yeah, you gave it to me.
and more.
I thought we did Harry on.
No, oh, sorry. So Harry
Changing times.
has a dentist appointment.
Call, click, Grainger.
And I would.
So,
Well,
what better time to call him?
I know. Trust me, we should call him. Just
Challenging. Just ask.
Just ask him different questions. Like, yeah, I agree.
They
felt
kicked
like
me
we were
off the
looking
show
for a
last
Neil and
week, too.
Einstein. Dylan started using ZipRecruiter and found his perfect candidate in a few
I was
days.
on their show. They called me.
Very
on
impressed
the
with how
golf
quickly
course.
we had quality.
They kicked me off.
They kicked you off, like permanently?
No.
Post a job on ZipRecruiter. Get a
just for that day.
The first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/.
What's this guy's name again?
Adam
Thompson.
Thank you.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-529.
Adam's ready.
800-528-6859.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering. Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859. That's 800-528-6859.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
All right, we've got a lot to get to. Try to make you some money here. And I'm going to give you a second or two to pull up your app, whatever book you place your bets on, wherever you go. I don't care if it's a global market or if you're legal in a state, wherever it is that you try to go out there and make some money. We have brought on Adam Thompson from bookies.com at _Adam_Thompson_. And we're already underway right now in the NHL. But Adam, we've got a busy schedule in the NBA. I know you've got a bunch of MLB plays as well. And I guess we should start with your, at the time, ridiculous pick of Blazers Bucks in the finals before the bubble even restarted. For at least one day, you are king, sir. Although that Bucks pick looks like, who would have thought that of those two, the Bucks pick would be in jeopardy?
Yeah, right. They're the one that looks a little more on shaky ground right now. No, but I like the Blazers early on. I just, this is a team that, last year was the second best team in the West. They went to the Western Conference Finals. And this year, on paper, they were really a better team. They just haven't had their full array of weapons until now, with Nurkic coming back. And I think this break was a great thing for the guards, Willard and McCollum, to kind of just regroup and, get back to 100% energy, because they just give so much, and they're relatively, little guys for their positions. And, they just get banged around. They're physical. So I think this break was just perfect for them. And then, obviously Carmelo Anthony, an aging old guy, he's taking this kind of seriously. This is one best shot, really. So, I like the Lakers. I like the Blazers. I kind of thought, this was my pick for the Western Conference was the winner of this first round series, which is kind of a crazy thing to say, especially when the Blazers had to work their way into the 8-9 game. But these are just two teams I really like.
Man, that would be amazing. First off, it wouldn't shock me as you hit, 71% now on NBA picks so far. So the level of the clip that you hit games at, I wouldn't be shocked because you were the one who picked it, but it would say something, I think, if we saw an 8 seed reach it that far. Let's look at today's slate. We can start with my squad taking on the Celtics. I actually I didn't like them at first, but I saw that line drop a little bit, and I actually like the Sixers on the money line. So I'm tempted. I don't know how to feel right now because you're either going to destroy that or back it. And either way, I'm either going to feel terrible and have to hedge or double down on the initial bet.
I actually like the Sixers tonight, and they're a team I've dogged a lot lately. I've just been very frustrated with these, as has everybody who's backed them. Over the last 9 months of action, they're just a team that's tough to follow. But no, I watched the first game, and Joel Embiid was just an unstoppable force of nature for the first opening several minutes of the game, and then by the end, he didn't even lead their team in shot attempts. It was just an inexcusable. I don't know what happened if he just kind of started fading away on his own, or if his teammates just stopped looking for him, or if the Celtics just put all the resources into stopping him. But that's something that just can't happen. And I think the Sixers learned a lesson in that first game. And I think Gordon Hayward, him being gone is a blow to the depth of the Celtics. Obviously, this is still a roster that can make a lot of damage. But on this night, I think the Sixers learned a lesson. I think the Celtics will need to regroup a little bit and figure out how they're going to do things without Hayward out there taking minutes. So I like the points. I took the Sixers, but I took the points.
You took the 4.5. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't blame you or I don't blame anybody else. The value was there for me where I thought this is, like you said, a bounce-back game for Philadelphia. Joel Embiid, and that was the shocker, is that Boston has zero answer for Embiid, but it still wasn't enough for Philly. So either way, Sixers, take the points if you can. You'll lay a little bit more. But I took them, and it wasn't a ton. I mean, it's like plus 170 that I actually got them on the money line. So it's not like this was some major steal on the board. Now, the other game that you have tonight is the game that follows it. And we saw the ending last time without Kristaps Porzingis after he was ejected. I imagine that the expectation of having Kristaps in this game for its entirety would have some impact on your pick tonight.
It does a little bit, but so does Montrezl Harrell coming back fully loaded as well. He hasn't played at all in the bubble until game one. He only played about just about 12, 15 minutes or something like that. Not too much. But the Clippers kind of took the Mavericks' best shot. Doncic had one of the greatest games ever as far as opening playoff games for a player. But the Clippers just kind of persevered and they won and they covered as a favorite. I don't think they're going to fall behind by double digits this time. I think Harrell's going to be a force against Porzingis. Porzingis, obviously, him missing the game was a huge momentum turner. So I think it could be a close game. I think Clippers pull away late, though. This is a team that kind of handled Dallas, during the regular season. It's just not a good matchup for whatever reason throughout the year. I think they played them 3 times, beat them 2 of the times were by 15 points. So it's just a team that has another team's number, and the Clippers are healthy here just in game 2 of the playoffs. I think I saw it at -6. I think that's a fair number. So I laid the points with the Clippers.
Did you look at the total at all? 229.5 I see right now. It's pretty much similar, 104 under, 107 over. I looked at that and thought it was kind of a low number, especially expecting a blast from Dallas in at least one quarter, knowing the Clippers are going to score just to keep up. It seemed like a low number, Adam.
Yeah, I prefer the over on that one as well. I think the Clippers will come out firing. Dallas's defense isn't much home to write about, but their offense is. They can score on anybody, even the Clippers. So I think you're right. I think the Mavericks are just going to come out guns a-blazing. This is game 2. They let one slip away in game 1, and I think the Clippers are going to have to just keep up. But I think the Clippers can keep up. And I think they get the stops in the end as well and hold on and cover.
Adam Thompson joining us, bookies.com, on Twitter @Adam_Thompson_. I know that we've got 2 other games ahead of time. I know you didn't make an actual play on it, but were you close to making a play on either the Raptors or Nuggets game?
Yeah, I like the Nuggets. I didn't pick them this time. They struggled against, obviously, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's the one player that can hurt him, and he really did hurt them a lot in the first game, but the Nuggets still won. So, we'll see which team responds after that first game. The first game was awesome. I didn't take either side because I think the Jazz keep every game seemingly close. Gobert, what's he going to do against Jokic? I just wasn't 100% sure, but I leaned towards the Nuggets. That would be more of a money line pick for me. Against the spread, I wasn't sure. And the other one I didn't really touch. I think the Raptors are just too good, but that was just too many points for me for a team that, they can score points for sure, but they lean on their defense. If, the Nets, you just don't know what they're going to bring on a given night. They can beat anybody. They can lose to anybody. I think the Raptors are going to win, but that point spread was just a little too iffy for me, so I stayed away.
All right, let's look at the diamond here. I know you've got a couple of plays already out. Phillies Red Sox. That's an early game today, and it's just a battle of which pitching staff wants to give it up sooner.
Right, and I think it's the Red Sox that are going to see that team because Kyle Hart, he just had his MLB debut and he got shelved. So now they throw him back out there, and at least he's at home. But the Phillies are the number one road hitting team in the majors. They have an OPS over 900 on the road against left-handers. They also have an OPS over 900. They're ranked number 2. So they're on the road facing a lefty. This is a matchup that they're going to be just extra confident about. And on the other side, Tanner Roark, he's just an innings eater. So he's struggling out there, but I think he can keep Boston's hitters at bay. Boston is obviously just at a downward spiral right now. And, if Roark, the key for Philly is going to be Roark needs to pitch multiple innings, go to at least 6, maybe 7, because Philly's bullpen is terrible. So I think if he can, I think he'll get a lead early and he can work with it. And I think Philadelphia wins that one.
Well, here's something to think about. And we've had this now. It's tried and tested. So there's actual data behind this theory, Adam. But if the Phillies, it's like an if-then scenario here. If the Phillies are up early in any game, then you live bet the hell out of the other team on the run line. Because especially if you're going to get a team +4, +5, +6, whatever that is, however big that lead is, because there is going to be a human being that's going to come out of the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know who it is on any given night. And that guy is going to give up 4 or 5 runs, or the combination of 3 pitchers are going to give up 4 or 5 runs. So I'm with you. I think the Phillies win this game. But the beauty of betting the Phillies live is that any lead they have is not safe. Every lead they have isn't safe.
It's astonishing how terrible they've been. I mean, their ERA for bullpen is almost 2 runs worse than anybody else in the league. And you're not like 4 games in the season. I mean, this is a month in just about. So, yeah, it's pretty inexcusable and pretty shocking. I mean, it's not that shocking. Like, you look at their roster, and that was kind of a known area of question mark, I guess.
It was neglected.
Right, and they didn't do anything with it during the offseason, and it's showing. But I like them here. I think the bats should come alive. I mean, the over is probably a halfway decent play because I don't know if Roark's going to necessarily shut out the Red Sox or anything, but I think Philadelphia is just going to score too many runs.
All right, Royals Reds. You have the first of the doubleheader today.
Yep, that's the one that was supposed to be played yesterday with Luis Castillo for the Reds going against Brad Keller. And Luis Castillo, I love what he brings. He's been off and on, and he was off in his last start. And Brad Keller, he's 2-0 with an ERA of 0. So this guy is mowing them down against the Reds. The Reds have a lifetime. This Reds lineup that he'll face today has 4 hits against them all time, a 118 average. So, the Kansas City, you're never quite sure, but at home, they're just a much better hitting team, an 848 OPS, which is top 5 in MLB. The Reds on the road, their OPS is 200 points lower. So I think if you're going to back the Reds, and you're getting a pretty good price with the underdog Reds here, so I like I found a lot of value with Kansas City in that first game.
All right, Adam, let's look at 2 more here. Tigers, White Sox. We can start there.
Yeah, MLB debuts. Casey Mize finally gets out there. He's been a top 5 prospect for a while. I think everybody's kind of been waiting for this day, especially in the Tigers Nation. He has a career whip of under 1 in over 120 innings in the minors. So it's about time he gets out there. The White Sox have a better batting lineup, obviously, than the Tigers do. But runs scored, they're actually even. And then you go, Chicago at home is actually worse. They only average 4.2 runs a game. Detroit on the road is averaging 5.8. So I think you put those together. I think, Chicago's pitcher that's debuting is coming off a year-long Tommy John rehab. So I think Casey Mize, I think he gets going, he gets his pro career started positively here with a win. And that's another just value pick. I think the Tigers are a nice underdog if I recall. So I back them there.
You get them at +1.5 on the run line for -141. I'm looking at DraftKings, but +138 on the money line. That should probably be the play there, right?
Yeah. The money line for them. I think they can win that game on the road.
All right, last one tonight. Dodgers and Mariners. It's going to be tough for Seattle to hit LA with who's on the mound. How do you see this?
Yeah, this is now speaking of run line. Here's a run line pick for you because the Dodgers are just too expensive overall. But Julio Urias. He's throwing hard. He's throwing aggressive. He's going deep into games. Right. He's on a roll. And the Mariners are the 30th best team hitting lefties in the league. So 30th best is not good. That means you're first worst. So I think the Dodgers are. I think the Mariners are in trouble when it comes to scoring runs. And Taijuan Walker has struggled against the Dodgers in the past. They're hitting .383 against him lifetime. So you put those two things together right there, and you're talking about a surging Dodgers team and a Mariners team that is really struggling right now. I think run line, -1.5. I think you can get that with the Dodgers. And you're still in the minus category, but it's a much better value there.
Yeah, and if you really want value, what you can do is just take the last 2 picks from Adam and parlay them with the Dodgers -1.5 on the run line and Detroit +138. On the money line, and that's going to do wonders for you. Awesome stuff, Adam. Always appreciate you, your time, the insight. Again, on Twitter, bookies.com. It's @_Adam_Thompson_. You got to make sure you get all 3 underscores in there. Thank you, brother. Be well and be safe, man.
Hey, thanks, anytime.
You got it. That's Adam Thompson, bookies.com. And reminder, one of the biggest changes that all of us are dealing with, you, me, everyone, wearing a mask. And, of course, not all offer the same comfort and protection. Well, enter BoomerNaturals.com, as we all are recommending the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask for a reason. Now, first, know that they come in sizes for adults, teens, and children. They're in stock now. They'll ship to you fast. And one reason why these are highly protective, the nano silver technology that's woven into the fabric. Nano silver can block the tiny drops and particles from getting to the nose and mouth. And that's what we want right now, the best protection. Boomer also offers those popular nano silver neck gaiters. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code SPORTS and save 20%. That's code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. You'll get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. As we remind you, Boomer donates 1 face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need. It's boomernaturals.com.
Into the night.
Here with my man Kevin Harlan. So what's your favorite organic thing that you've ever done, whether it's an NBA or an NFL game or any other sport?
Well, they've all been organic. I like to say that whenever they've happened, they're so focused that it does happen organically. Now, listen, wrestling with my kids or playing Nerf football in their rooms, you come up with these crazy sayings like the no regard for human life. That call, that actually I stole from a James Bond movie, Dr. No. So when I heard that line, I would use it when I was playing against our son, Nerf football or Nerf basketball, in his room when he was like a little guy. When he was like 2 and 3 years old, he goes, I have no regard for human life. And I would slam the Nerf ball over his head. So when LeBron did that, for whatever reason in that moment, it just kind of popped into my head and I used the call.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a website for anyone interested in the automotive world. Whether you want to check out the latest auto news, read reviews on the newest vehicles, see some vintage rides, or get tips to keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting the showroom, then head over to AutomotiveMap.com. That's AutomotiveMap.com.
Wake up call. Big Ten has one game this year
Ohio State, Michigan?
at the Rose Bowl
Oh, that's not
on
bad.
January 1st.
That's not bad. Can you imagine if Harbaugh loses that game and Michigan fans
Oh, God.
you had 4 months to prepare for one team.
Be fired on the
one
field.
moment. This is what we get. You can't beat Ohio State when you have had nothing else on your calendar.
He wouldn't even get the Lane Kiffin treatment.
No, he wouldn't either.
There's
No.
no tarmac in his future. It would
No,
just
because
be right there in the tunnel.
Getting fired on the tarmac indicates that you thought you were going to get on the plane. They wouldn't even allow him the thought of getting on the plane. Don't pack your bags. You might as well stay here for a few days.
Yeah, you're used to
Ain't going back to
California,
Ann Arbor.
right? Yeah, stay in California.
Didn't you coach down at San Diego State at one point? Go visit them for a few days because you ain't coming back to Ann Arbor with us.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The second level.
Whose last name would you take as your own if you had to pick one? Asman, Desiri,
definitely.
or Shander?
It's not Asman.
Ron Asman?
Yeah.
I think you'd have to go Tony, right? Ron Shander isn't terrible.
Ron Shander sounds like a real estate agent. Ron Desiri or Ronnie D.
Ronnie D is great. Tony D, Ronnie D. You guys a couple of brothers out there.
The second level with Eitan Shander. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, real quick as we spin things over to Matt Peralta at the top of the hour across all Sports Map Radio platforms. One for the road. Do you have one, or do you want me to go back to the football teams? That was more of a threat.
We barely have time for anything.
I know. We really don't. Well, slide it in real quick.
I don't have one for the road.
Most popular NFL team in Vermont.
Patriots.
Utah.
Broncos.
You finally missed one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Niners?
That's what happens when you don't have your map up and ready to go.
No, is it Niners?
It's the Cardinals, man. It's
Cardinals.
the Cardinals. See, now you're starting to
Cardinals.
believe me. This doesn't make any sense. It's fugazi.
Nah, they
this
haven't been in
list.
Phoenix that long.
That's what my point is. Get them out of here. Get this whole list out of here, except for Pennsylvania. Eagles are still king here. All right, Peralt next. We're back on Thursday. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for sending stuff already. Look at that.
All righty.
Multitasking. Tomorrow we have Josh. So we'll
Into the night.
Cool.
Thanks, brother.
Hey, have a good one.
I don't know. I'll let you know.
October 12th, he's going to be
tomorrow,
ready to go
but
back
he'll
to training
probably
camp
text me in the
less than a
morning
month later. No.
on
What
what
time when John's going to go?
Yeah.
No,
Thanks, man.
no. Hey, LeBron.